So, is there anything else I want to say? Yeah, a little story. So this is a story I heard from a woman, Laura Sims. It's a Bedouin story. And it goes like this. There were these two friends, and they were best friends. And why they were best friends was a real mystery to everyone in the area, because one of them, they couldn't have been more different. One of them was a selfish friend, always just thinking about himself. What's in it for me? How do I get what I want? Very short-term focused. And the other one was a generous fellow, always thinking about other people, not thinking about so much just what he needs, but what's needed in the community, and taking care of people and honest. But for whatever reason, they were so close. And one day, that generous friend, he got a horse, and it was the most beautiful horse you've ever seen. And his selfish friend sees this horse and immediately becomes jealous. And he wants a horse like this for himself. But because of the way he lives his life, he doesn't have the money or the access to such a horse. But he goes to his friend, he says, look, sell me this horse. He figures his friend will give him a bargain. His friend says, oh, I can't sell this horse. The horse has become so dear to me over the last month, and it took me years to find a horse like this and years to save up the money to buy. But if you ever want to ride my horse, or my horse can be of use, of course I'd be happy to share. Well, his friend says, okay, and pretends that's all right and goes off. But now he's scheming. The next day, his generous friend is riding the horse to the marketplace. As he's riding, he passes an old man with his beggar's bowl sitting on the side of the road with a hood over his face. And he says, my friend, or he says, oh, old man, would you like some shekels in your bowl for food? He says, oh, that would be so kind of you. He said, but what would be more helpful is if you could give me a ride to the marketplace, because the begging is better than these old legs won't carry me. And of course, this is his selfish friend in disguise. He says, well, of course. And he gets off his horse and he helps the selfish friend on his horse, and his friend grabs the reins, and he's off. And when he's, 100 feet away, turns around laughing. And the generous friend realizes he's going to have one chance to say something. And then his friend's going to ride off, and he probably never see him again. And that's a real 1-2 punch. In one moment, he's just lost his best friend, and he's lost this horse. Two of the most precious things in his life gone. And he's going to have a chance to say one thing. There'll be one little exchange, and then that's it. And you got to ask yourself what you would say in a situation like that. I know what I'd want to say. Just 2 words, and the second word would be off. There'd be a lot of things I'd want to say, very caustic, curse this person as they go. But this fellow, he's just so generous in his heart, more so than I'll probably ever be. And so he says something very different. And what he says, I'll tell you at the end of the workshop. So, but you can just think about that. I'm going to blow my nose again. All right, I'll be right back. But do think about what you might say, because this is big implications on marketing. So there you are. You're standing there, and your friend's just taking your horse. You thought I forgot. And what do you say? What do you say that's going to tend to something bigger than you? I really don't know what I would say in a situation like that, but I know what he said. He said this. He said, my friend, I see what's happening. You take my horse and you go away, and I'll never see you again. So there's only one thing I want to ask. And his friend laughs and says, what's that? He said, that you never tell anyone how you came by this horse. Because you know how gossip is and how it goes from mouth to ear, and suddenly, like wildfire, it's everywhere. If you tell people how you came by this horse, no one will ever give money to the beggars again. So the way that we market has consequences that are so much bigger than us. When we act unethically in our marketing, it not just hits that person, but it has this consequence of everyone else in our industry, that they are trusted less, as happened with me in Amsterdam, when people were skeptical about coming to my workshop because of what other people did, and I was the one who had to pay the price for their, for their indiscretions. So thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. I'm so grateful for your time, spending a whole day. It really is reckless. I really don't go to many workshops. You end up in an eye gazing exercise with somebody you didn't sign up for, and you're like, what the hell? So you came, and I'm glad you, as my grandmother would say, you really shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did. So maybe we'll see you down the road somewhere. If you have any questions, email me anytime, tat@marketingforhippies.com, and we'll officially end it there. I see Chris has a question, so I'll stick around if there are any sort of last questions. Otherwise, I'll release you back to the world that needs you so much. Take care.